Hello everyone. I hope you can see me. You know, I seem to be perpetually late for everything. I was even late being born. But if you can see me, I would love for you to say hi and let me know if you can hear me okay. I know it's Saturday, but where we haven't finished the pattern, or patterns, like the sampler, I thought, oh, I'm home. I might as well stream and get it done. The sampler, that is. I do love streaming. I'm just gonna clear my chat here. Do 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 do. La 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 la. There we go. Okay, so if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Nin, and I am the owner of Nin Designs, where you can find my patterns and actually explore different knitting techniques. That's what I'm all about, like learning to do different things with your knitting. So today I thought, of course I think of this 5 days later into the streaming of the Japanese knitting stitches. I thought what I would do is get a little thing ready. Oh, of course, these rotten dogs. Guys, there's nobody here. Ugh, these dogs are driving me nuts, I swear. I thought what I would do, I just put it on this view here for now so that, because I'm not going to be showing my hands. This is just a simple cast on. What I'd like to do is have a little bit of a cast on, or a little bit of worsted. This is worsted weight. I'm just using like little small needles, nothing fancy. And I just wanted to have a little bit of knitting so that I could show some of the techniques, because there's been some questions like, what does an SSK, that's a slip, slip, knit on the wrong side row, what does that look like? Right? Like, how would you do it? Like, what is a slip, slip, knit on the wrong side row? What is its acronym, abbreviation? I don't know how to say. Anyway, what is it on the wrong side row, right? And I had to look it up, because even though I've been knitting for years, I still have to look things up, figure out what's going on. So I looked it up, and this morning, I streamed live this morning early, so that people who, are in Europe, or, where it's really late for them right now. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to stream early so they can have like an afternoon knitting session with me. And oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It's on, if you go to the channel, it's under day 5, yada yada yada, morning knit. So if you want to see that, it was a lot of fun. At the end, we were talking about chocolate. I love chocolate. And Christy, one of the knitters who's participating in the Learn to Knit. Wait. It's a mouthful. It's long. Learn how to knit Japanese knitting stitches sampler. What a title. Anyway, she's participating in that, and she's in Spain, and she was saying that in the morning when they wake up, I guess it's a morning thing because I was going on about how I didn't have my coffee and I only had 4 hours of sleep. Boo hoo, right? You know, because I was knitting until 2 in the morning, and I just had to get that part of the sampler done because I ripped back 3 times. So frustrating. Anyway, so I went to bed after I got to the point where the goal where I had set myself, and then I woke up super early and started right back knitting just so I could get more on the needles to show everyone. And I was tuckered and kind of a little giddy and loopy, and I still am because I usually try to get an afternoon nap. I mean, it's pretty hard with dogs and kids. Oh, hey, Wyatt, I need you to shut that door, please, right now, and take the doggos with you.
Okay, where's the door here?
What?
Where's the door here?
Right there, behind you, dear. Okay, sorry about that.
One last thing.
No. Aww. Give Mom a hug. Oh, the little boy. This is my son. He is so adorable.
I made some cameos, 2 cameos in the previous video, correct?
That is correct. Oh, you're gonna knock Mama's chair over.
Sorry.
All right, listen. You go take those doggos and make them go upstairs.
I'm kind of hungry right now.
After lunch, you're already hungry again. Go upstairs to see if Lila will get you a snack.
Nah, I'll wait for Daddy, but one last thing. When are we going to play Yoshi's Woolly World?
Very soon. Listen, Mommy is doing her streaming. You've got to go, okay? All right.
Okay, I'll go.
I love you, love you.
Love you too, girls.
It's my little guy.
Here, the door is closed.
My baby. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Anyway. Now I have no idea what I was saying. It just happens like that. Yeah. Anyway. Life. Oh, chocolate. We were talking about chocolate. Yeah, I love delicious drinks. That's my jam. I drink tea, but I like a bold chai, or sometimes I think the flavored ones are very nice too for teas, or sometimes just a straight up old-fashioned, red rose or King Cole. But I like coffees. I like them particularly cold when I drink them. But if I do drink a coffee, it has to be a flavored one, and it has to be delicious and exotic, because I'm a snob like that. I can't drink plain coffee. If it's hot, I can't. It just, I can't do it. So anyway, we were talking this morning about coffees, and I was at this restaurant not too long ago, and you know what they put in my coffee? Because I bought it was called the Spanish something, blah, 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 coffee. Great big chunk of chocolate, like, bloop. I was, what? I've been liking that. Oh, I liked it so much. So Christy, who is in Spain, was saying how that's very common for them, like a common drink. And she was also saying that they eat churros. 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 I think that's it. In the morning. And they dip them in thick melted chocolate. I have not been to Spain. I've traveled a bit. I've been to probably about 6 different countries, right? Haven't done the whole continent, like hopscotching around continents yet. But Spain sounds nice. I think I would like it, and like it a lot. Anyway, that's at the end of the show. We were kind of way off knitting, way off tangent, not eating, but talking about food and drinks. Actually, I'm just going to put it back on live stream. There we go. So for those who don't know, we are doing a sampler from stitches of this book, and it's really, really good. Like, really good. These stitches are gorgeous. What we did in the Facebook group, which is For the Love of Japanese Knitting Stitches, I believe it's called. If you haven't joined that group and you are a knitter and you love a challenge, or you like to explore different stitches, that group on Facebook is for you. I don't own the group. I don't own the group, but yeah, it's exploded with different knitters all over the world. It just, I mean, like a week ago, I think it was like at 200, 300, maybe a little more than 300 members, and now it has almost 1,000 knitters. Isn't that cool? So, and what's even more cool is that the woman who translated this book, she is one of the world's one of the world's renowned experts on Japanese stitch knitting. She's a translator. She is fluent in Japanese. She's lived in Japan. She even met Hitomi Shida. She met her. So cool. Gail Rome. I hope I said that right. It's about, I'm bad with names. Gail actually belongs to the Facebook group I was talking about. So if you have any troubles, you can just like give her a shout out. She is so sweet. She's really nice. If I could, I would totally take one of her classes. That's what she does. Like, she travels and teaches, and she writes patterns, and she designs and whatnot. Obviously, she does translations. Yeah. So, just to show you, just gonna flip through the book just a little bit, just give you a taste of the different designs. Aren't they gorgeous? Stunning. So look at this. I love this kind of like contained organic work right here, and this very unique take on a cable. How pretty, huh? So nice. So in the group, what we did is we voted. I found a few images online of the stitches from this book, and I just actually put it in a vote, put it to a vote, and to see which stitches people wanted to give a go with, right? Now, I tried not to pick ones that were super intricate. They're all intricate, but like the hardcore ones, if you know. Because my main goal behind this project, which it turned out to be quite a large project, and I love it. The main reason why, and if you look on my Instagram feed, which is Nin Designs on Instagram, NINDESIGNS, Nin Designs on Instagram, you'll see a little video clip, and it is my reason why. I want people not to fear trying these stitches, right? I want them to try them, because that was the thing I was noticing in the Facebook group. A lot of people were saying, I have the book, I love the book, it's wonderful, but I'm too scared to try them, or I don't think I could do them. And that was so sad. Uh-oh. Do we have no audio? All right, how's that for audio? I've been chatting along and looking like a sock puppet because I didn't have the audio up. Oh, tech boy, where are you? I have my best friend. He handles the tech. He set this up for me, which is so kind. I mean, that's really nice. Anyway, he set this up for me so I can live stream, and help people. And he has a life, so he's not here right now, and I'm flying oh so low, right? And I'm so sorry. Here I was talking about all this good stuff. No one heard me. Yeah. Isn't that something? That's just the way of the world. That's me. I always do things like that. I just want to make sure that I'm actually streaming now. Okay, we are. What I'm going to do is start over. I'm going to splice that little segment out. So, all right, I'm just going to introduce myself again. Hi, I'm Nin from Nin Designs, owner of Nin Designs. I'm a pattern writer for knitting, and I'm doing streaming now because I want to reach out to knitters around the world and help them to explore knitting. See if they can grow as a knitter, you know, because that's cool. And plus just a chat with people who are around the world knitting, because honestly, you know, it's so much fun to meet new people. So anyway, what was I going to say? Yes, so for the people who have just joined me, we have a knit along that's happening right now. And it's happening in the Facebook group called For the Love of Japanese Knitting Stitches. It's not my Facebook group, but I belong to it, and it is so much fun. If you don't belong to it, I encourage you to search it up. You know, just put in Japanese knitting stitches, and you'll find it, and ask to join. Loads of very talented people, loads of beginning knitters, loads of people who have bought this book and are just taking it to the next level. It's amazing. Like, it's so cool. And the woman who actually translated the book, Gail Rome, she is a member of that group. So if you have a question about this beautiful book that she translated for Hitomi Shida, she probably could answer pretty much anything. She's a designer as well, and she is one of the world's foremost specialists, like a world-renowned specialist on Japanese knitting. And she speaks Japanese fluently. She lived in Japan for a while. She even met Hitomi Shida. Yeah. So, and she travels, I think she travels the world teaching knitting enthusiasts about Japanese knitting stitches because they're so gorgeous. What I would like to do is show you a little bit of the book so you can get a sense of what we're doing for this knit along. Oh yes, and I'll mention about the knit along. I started the knit along in the Facebook group as a way to help the knitters that were saying, I bought the book and I've knitted for years and I love the stitches, but I'm too nervous to try them. I'm scared to give them a go. And I just wanted to help them get out of their current comfort zone and take it to the next level. You know, just dive in and do them. And, you know, we could do them together. That's what I wanted to do. And that's why this streaming system was set up. yeah, so what I did is I put a voting of several different stitches, or quite a few, ones that I chose that were intricate, but not too intricate, because we want to get our toes wet. And the top 4 that everyone liked are the ones we are doing. So, right now, we're on day 5. So if you want to join the knit along, you'd have to join the Japanese, for the love of Japanese knitting stitches. Or you can join my group, which is, I'm going to have to type it in the chat because I am super bad at spelling. So watch me not be able to type this in the chat. Wouldn't that be funny? Okay, so my group online is Knit Without Bound. Oh my gosh, how do you spell boundaries? Oh my lord, I am having one of those days. I honestly didn't get a coffee today. We spoke about it all this morning. Didn't go get one. Silly, silly me. Oh, I tell you. All right, so I'm just going to go to Facebook and take a peek. Do, do, do. Okay. Alrighty. So, okay, so it's ARIES. You would never know that I actually went to university. I graduated with an English degree, but honestly, it was also like poo-poo theoretical stuff, you know, Shakespeare high level, and they really didn't care about spelling. And I got by without having to worry about spelling, even in my papers, because of spell check. Is my Facebook book group, and I'll put Japanese pattern bad typing, my goodness. Japanese knitting stitches sampler patterns. They're available for download. So if you go to my group, you can and join. You can download the stitches. There we go. You can also, if you join the other group that I'm actually not the captain of that group, which is the Japanese knitting, for the love of Japanese knitting stitches, and it's basically all about this book, right? And of course other things like the designs, Japanese designs, and trying to figure out, because they have a really beautiful way of having their charts and their actual schematics are stunning. They're like works of art. I love it. So we do a lot of talking about that. So just to show you what we did in the sampler so far, we knit together pattern 77. This was the first one everyone participated in. You see that one? 77. See. Isn't that pretty? I think that is so cute. So that's 77. Up next And actually, this is where a lot of people over the past 5 days, they're still on this one. It's not that it's not that it's hard per se. It's one with a few different techniques in it that even myself, I didn't even know how to do them, right? So pattern 19, which a lot of people are just finishing up or still on, is this one here. See if you can see that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love how it flows together. They remind me of butterflies, or possibly like cherry blossoms. I don't know. I just think that's so sweet. The thing that was challenging for a lot of people in this pattern, the knitting crossover, like it's a cable, right? That cable right there is 6 stitches. And it's unique because if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, on the needle, on the left-hand side, what you must do is take 5 and 6, so that's the ones on the farthest, put them to the very front, so they're crossing over, right? Yes. And then the center stitches are just in the center, like the center ones, and they're actually pearls. Sorry, that pause was me. That pause was me making the gears kind of go, figuring out what I was saying. And then 1 and 2, the very front stitches, which are knits, they've got a cross. So 5 and 6, 1 and 2 are crossed. 3 and 4, which are purl stitches, stay where they are. And the technique to do it is with a double pointed, well, you can use a double pointed needle blade. It's easier to use two, what are those things called? Cabling needles. Sorry. 2 cabling needles. And that's odd. Not a lot of cables do 2 cabling needles. Anyway, so yeah, that's what was going on. And that was tricky. So we had to do a few demonstrations of that. The other thing that was tricky, I found very tricky, that little bauble. The bauble is crochet. So there was crochet in with knitting, which I know it happens, but I don't crochet, and I've never really have experienced crochet within the actual pattern design. It's usually something that's around the edges for like borders or for support for a garment. So this was really cool for me to give a go. I learned a new trick. Oh, and that's what it's all about, right? So that was 19. The one that I'm on now, and there is a few knitters that are, they may even be done, is this one. Take a load of that. Isn't that beautiful? That one there, pattern 27 on page 29 of the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible. This is gorgeous. I think it's gorgeous. That being said, it is very time consuming. I've had to rip 3 times doing this one. I don't use lifelines, which is, I now realize, is foolish. I've got to learn how to use them. That's on the learning list. Yeah, I ripped 3 times. This is one of those stitches that you must pay attention to. there is only one rest row in it, I think. Actually, no, there isn't any rest rows in it. You are working on right side and wrong side, and it's super easy to get lost. Like, super easy. This one here, if you attempt it, I suggest highly that you use stitch markers, right? So that's the other one. And the last one that was voted on, which I cannot wait to start because I love this one, is pattern 59. Oh, turn right to it. Pattern 59. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that. I'm a big fan of twisted knit ribbing. I just love the vertical lines of that. So this one certainly does appeal to me greatly. And though it looks complicated, it really is not. Almost every technique that we learned in the other parts of the sampler, except for two, it's in here. And since we've already done them, this should be pretty good, pretty easy. That being said, there's no rest rows from this one either. I think, oh no, 12 out of a 30 stitch repeat. Row 12, that's the only rest row where you just knit the knits and purl the purls, right? Or no, sorry, it's not in the round. I usually knit in the round, so it's in the other way around. So you're going to purl the knits and knit the purls. So it's super easy. Oh, you see angels in that one. Oh, isn't that neat? The hand that just wove. That one is that one.
One.
Pardon me.
How does the stream look?
It's good, except this is Tech Guy who set this up. He was gone for 2 days. Things were a nightmare. I started the stream and I didn't have any sound, so I looked like a talking puppet. And then, after I did this lovely long spiel, I realized no one could hear me. So I'm glad that Tech Guy is back.
Why was your mic off?
What?
Why did you have no sound?
I hit the mouse, and I must have dragged it. I'm just telling Tech Guy what I did.
Okay, so what's that?
Okay, so now here's the other thing. My chat's not quite working. There's 2 screens. You can see above me. You can see where you're typing in, but it's very small for me to see. So usually the other one, it pops up and lets me read. But this one here, I have to lean in so close.
I got you fixed.
Oh, can you fix me, Tech Guy? That would be awesome.
Right now.
Let me see. Saskia RB. I am so sorry if I said that wrong. But hello, welcome welcome to my stream. And you see angels in that. That might be why I like it too. I love architecture, especially cathedrals. I just adore them. And I'm always thinking of lines and whatnot when I do my designs. And yeah.
Can you type something? Say testing. Why do you have a fly in here?
I don't know. It came in with...
Did it come in with me?
No, it came in with the dogs.
Sorry about that.
I have 2 big lab dogs that are very
I just
crazy.
Knitting some fly sweaters or something. Just type something. Test.
I'm going to...
No. You gotta click there first.
Oh, okay.
Click test.
Okay. Test.
Doesn't matter. Just
Test. What I'm doing right now, sorry, is just testing, make sure.
You're good. And it's see, test. And there you go. You're all set. Fixed.
Okay. Saskia
Hi, girls,
GRB.
boys, people. Tech man.
Okay.
Away.
Thank you, Tech Man.
Tech guy.
Tech guy. when he doesn't do what I want him to do, he gets downgraded to tech boy. And when he really upsets me, it's then, what was it, on our first day, all the people who were chatting with me, we called him pool boy. I don't even have a pool. Okay, so you have a very beautiful name. I don't think I can say it. So it's Saskia is your first name? Saskia? Because Garzinia? Is it Ryman's? Boudreau? And it's Dutch Cajun. Do you speak Dutch as well? All too funny. Oh, you do? Wow, neat. Okay, so you must be down in the States or in Europe, I'm thinking, with the Cajun part. So I'm Canadian. I'm coming to you from the Atlantic provinces, New Brunswick, and yeah, it's mine is a little. Oh, Muse Studio. I just saw I hope you saw it too. There's a little bouncing sheep. He's rainbow. When you click the following button, the bouncing sheep comes up as a reward. Isn't he the cutest? So thank you for choosing to follow me. That's wonderful. Oh, you're from Louisiana. Wow. That's where they had a lot of flooding. I have a very bad memory. I'll tell you that right now. I don't watch the news very often because I have anxiety. I know it's kind of a strange thing for me. Well, it's my normal, but it's strange to other people. You missed me yesterday. Oh, you were with me yesterday and I didn't see you. I apologize. Did you follow and the little bouncing sheep happened? If you did, I'm so sorry. I would have given you a shout out. I apologize. I have no idea why that happened other than the chat was off and Tech Guy, as you saw him, he just fixed it. I don't know how he fixed it. Like that. He fixed it. Yeah. And Sandra's here. I lost the chat and I found it again. Okay. That's awesome, Sandra. You I hope no one joined me like the first 15 minutes of the first 15 20 minutes of the show because I was blah 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 along and I had my microphone off. So, yeah. My tech skills. Anyway, are you part of our... are you participating in the sampler? Saskia? May I call you just Saskia? Is that okay? I'm just going to see here your reply. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Muse Studios, you didn't miss anything the first 15 minutes. It was just me looking like a sock puppet. Just enjoy you so much. That's sweet. Thank you. That is a very nice compliment. Oh, thank you. Saskia. I'm really bad with names. I will call you Saskia if that's okay. Yeah, what was my... That was... Yeah, it was just... I'm so glad Tech Boy, or Tech Guy, is back. He had to go to a different province. I don't know if you folks have ever been to Canada, but our provinces are big land masses, and he had to drive like 7 hours on a highway that speed limit is 110 kilometers per hour. I don't know what that is in miles, but anyway, he had to go pick up his daughter from her summer camp. Oh, I'm gonna read. Saskia says, "I would love to, but I'm knitting a cable blanket. Oh, I love cables. For my niece coming to visit me in October. That's a wonderful gift. She must be knit worthy. We talked about this the other day on the show. I love knitting. I adore it. It's one of my passions. But if I go to give something to someone, I want to make sure they're knit worthy. Because if they're not, it's heartbreaking to see them destroy something. You're okay. So Saskia says she's good at cable knitting. Me too. That's something I love to do, is cable knitting. In fact, before I had this stream up, I did a free course on the introduction to cable knitting, and I did it with handouts and the history of cable knitting, and what else? There was a pattern for each one doing swatches. Oh, okay. Yeah, I love knitting. Saskia says, me too. That's true. For me as well. Muse Studio says, or throw your knit in a closet, forget about it, and not knit worthy. Oh, yes. Yes. I got to tell you something. My mama is a beautiful knitter. She can knit with a recipe. Like, I'm sure there's viewers out there. You have knit something for so long, you just know how to do it. And you can plunk stitches in, embellish it, and it will be beautiful. That's my mom. Baby sweaters are her thing. And baby quilts. She did a beautiful heirloom one for me, for each of my babies, plus with a quilt. I knit her, like, you know, a kerchief, like the small, I know you know them. They're like the smaller size shawls. So they're not quite big enough to wrap around your shoulders, but it's really beautiful to wrap around your neck and just have it fall gracefully. I knit her one in her color. She's Irish. She's got the Irish skin tones and the red hair and the gray eyes that look like lightning bolts when she's mad at you. She's got a temper too. I knit her this gorgeous, beautiful item out of Seacell. That's $80 Canadian. One skein. And thank goodness it was a one skein wonder project. Towards the end, I was playing, what is that called? Yarn chicken? Where you only have so much and you're like, oh, please let me have enough to finish that. Because there was no way I was going to go and get another skein of this Seacell. Like, I couldn't afford it. It's just insane. So I gave it to her. I'm like, Mama, here you go. I love you so much. She's like, oh dear, I love it too. Thank you so much. And she puts it in a drawer, wrapped in tissue, mind you, so it's protected. Never wore it once. I mean, seriously? So Muse Studio, I'm just like, and then she went through this phase where, you know how, well, my mom is. She's, you know how a lot of Irish people are portrayed to have a little bit of the, I don't know how to call it. It's like the drama, right? So she went through this phase where she's like, oh, when I die, I want everyone to know what they're getting. So she was like putting labels on the bottom of everything in her house. I'm like, Mama, you've got at least another 20, 30 years, right? Come on, woman, stop. So she gives me back the kerchief. I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? I'm giving it back to you, dear. So that way no one will throw it out and no one will take it. I'm like, Mom, it's for you to wear while you're alive, Mom, right? No, you have it. I'm too afraid to wear it. I'm like, oh my gosh. The woman, I tell you. But anyway. Oh, yarn. Okay, Muse Studio says yarn chicken. Okay, it is yarn chicken. I wasn't sure. For some reason, I thought it was knit chicken, but it's yarn chicken. Yeah. Has anyone experienced something like that where you go and buy a heinously expensive skein of yarn, which is, obviously fabulously gorgeous. You knit something for someone and they don't appreciate it as much as you do? It's heart-wrenching. Really, seriously. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Anyway. I could get on a jag about that, but I won't. So today I am setting up in worsted weight on my little kid needles. These are what I teach children how to knit at our local school. Hopefully it'll take and the little monsters will love knitting. Because that's why I did it. Anyway, no, it was all right. What I'm doing is setting up a sample. So if anyone who is on right now, if anyone who is watching right now and you are participating in the sampler for the Japanese stitches, and you would love to have a live demonstration of the stitches, then I can do it. I find the swatch, or no, sorry, not a swatch. The sampler that I am making is it's in I think it's sock weight, yeah, and on very small needles. You cannot see, or at least I can't see it, as well as I would hope for on my overhead boom mic, right? Or not mic, camera. And I was like, that's really depressing. And of course, on day 5, I come up with this idea. Next time I'll have that in place. Oh, Muse Studio, you're from Toronto. Making fun of my slang. Oh my. Jag. Yes, it is an East Coast thing. Oh my goodness. Well, welcome from Toronto. You have a lovely city with lovely yarn shops. Saskia says, the only I would knit for with expensive yarn is my sister in Holland. She's knitworthy, huh? Yeah. Oh, you learned to knit English style in your first grade, and it's like under the arm? That is so cool. So you knit on the long needles. Am I right? Like the long metal needles you would have been knitting on? I've seen that technique where you hold it under the armpit while you knit, so that way as your work in progress grows, it takes stress off your hands. I think that's why they do it. And also it's great for walking around when you knit, which I do as well. Not the armpit holding one thing. I like to walk outside and knit at the same time. Oh yes, so you said yes. Okay, so you said you once knit all my grandchildren a hat for Christmas. Aw! The boys got beanies and the girls got berets. I love a good beret. It's sweet. yes, they were fashionable for a while. I still wear them once in a while. I guess I'm not less fashionable. I could tell none of them appreciated it. They also got some money, but the I'm so sorry that happened to you. That is so sad and heartbreaking. How old were they at the time when you knit for them? Please tell me they were just like little kids and not in their 20s, because I would be so disappointed. Yeah. Oh, the straight needles were 14-inch. I did see someone do a demonstration of that knitting in Vogue Knitting Live New York a few years ago. I reference to that because there's a lot of things that I'll see people will chat in the chat about, and I've seen before, and I just kind of I don't know what elaborate on it for all the people out there who may not know what we're going about. Going for teens and over. Those saucy cats! I have a tween. That's the age between 10 and 13. That gap. I have 2 in that gap. Everything is, no, you know. And I'm so sorry that they didn't appreciate the hats. I bet you are a beautiful knitter. You've got years of experience. And for someone just to... I hope their mother spanked them. Isn't that awful? I always threaten my children with a spanking. I have yet to spank my children. No, I have never spanked my kids. Oh, so there were 6 girls and 2 boys. That's a lot of grandchildren. Wow. It's funny, when my mom, my brothers and sisters, there's 6 of us, we all married later in life. And my mom was saying, or had children later in life. My mom was saying at one point, I'm never going to have any grandkids. And boom, within 2 years, she had 12. So be careful what you wish for. Oh, and you designed them too? Oh. I'm going to start crying for you. Sandra, oh my goodness. Sandra, that's awful. Sandra, that's awful. Oh my gosh. That's so awful. Oh, that's like when that's traumatizing. I've never had that experience. I really hope I don't. I'm glad you can laugh about it now. That shows that you're getting over it. I had one of my daughters. She keeps losing everything, right? Just like me when I was a kid. Always lost my mittens. So when I was 4, almost 5, my mom made me learn how to knit. And the first thing we worked on was mittens, because she's like, you're going to learn to appreciate them. And I did. Yeah, so my daughter lost one of my designs at school on the playground, and I had yet to take a photograph of it for my pattern, and it was to be released soon. Let me tell you, there was some panic. So I made her come with me up to the local country school, and we combed that playground. I tell you, I found so many mitts and hats from all the kids that that had lost them, and yeah, and I found my hat. Thank goodness it wasn't damaged. It hadn't been stomped to oblivion by hordes of children running to get to their seats on time. So thank goodness for that. And it wasn't muddy, you know. So I was able to. I think I did just because I'm nervous about people viewing my patterns. I want them to look the very best they can be. I think I did soak it again and block it again. Yeah. Even though it looked fine. And as Sandra knows, because you've been with me for a while, you know that I tend not to darn in my ends. I forget to do it. Yeah, we'll go with forget. I just don't like darning in. Anyone here like darning in your ends? Like, I don't know why. I think I would like the Russian join. Is it the Russian join? Where you don't have ends, but then you have your cast on tail. So Muse Studio, you don't like to darn in ends? Because I see you say nope. Do you mean nope? Oh, I don't like to darn them in, or nope? I love darning ends. Because if you do, I'll send them to you. Oh, I love chai tea. Gotcha now. So you don't like darning in ends either. I always am so fascinated by those projects where people take, like, and you too, Sandra. No. How about you, Saskia? Do you like darning in ends? Do you mind weaving in your ends when you're finished? I do not like it. Where was I going? Oh, yes. Have you seen those quilts that people are making with the miter squares? And it's all out of sock yarn. The theory behind it is to use up all your yarn, which I think is awesome. Every scrap that you can. But can you imagine the ends? Like, there would have to be quite a few. Like, quite a few ends, I'm thinking. I've never done it. I've not... I don't have a lot of time to knit because I'm knitting samples for my patterns, like for my designs that I do. So I don't usually have time to knit. You always sew them in. Saskia says she always sews them in because she's afraid it might get undone or unravel. I gotta show you something, Saskia. This is one of my very first patterns. See the purple one on your screen right now? That's this hat. And in the photo shoot of that very hat on the screen right now to your right, that had the ends still hanging off it. And I just had to make sure they were tucked up. This hat here, I did at the same time. It's a cute little slouchy. I like slouchy hats. And I love this rib. It's so nice. Oh, did I say something other than mitered squares? I might have. Thank you, Muse Studio. Wait. Your next pattern is that? And yes, it's a work of patience. You're gonna do that? You're a braver woman than I am. But yes, this hat I did years ago. Look. And there's another one. If I ever do a trunk show, I'll weave them in before the trunk show. And it's funny because my kids, when they grab a sample because they're in a rush and they can't find their favorite hat, which always is store-bought. And I mean, come on, guys, seriously? They'll grab one of my samples, out the door with it. I'm like, but wait! You know, and then I'm just hoping and hoping and hoping it's going to come home, right? They always have ends hanging off. So they don't wear them too often. Maybe it's because of that reason. And that's probably a good thing, you know. Yeah, I haven't done the mitered, I'm saying it wrong, mitered squares quilt. Saskia, you love my green hat. Oh, thank you. You said you would drop everything just to knit that one. You're so kind. It's one of my older patterns. I made it out of, I wanted something for my daughter, my eldest daughter. Did I re-release it? No. She became gravely ill, and things were pretty scary for a while. I made this hat I designed for her, and the diamonds are her, and they're all around my head because I think about her. And and of course diamonds are rock hard, right? Nothing more better than a shiny diamond, right? And she's precious to me, and that's why the diamonds. So that's the story behind the hat. It's made out of bamboo, which I don't tend to use anymore. Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is made out of bamboo, and it has lovely drape. Like, look how, I don't want to say floppy, it drapes beautifully. So when it's on the head, it just has that lovely look to it. I can even wear it because it's bamboo. I think I used, I can't remember the company name. Anyway, I can wear it even into the summer. Not on a super hot day, like when it's 28 degrees Celsius here. I don't know what that would be in Fahrenheit. I can wear that, and it's lovely, and I don't, it doesn't bother me too much. But now that I've grown out my hair, it's a little hotter with all this hair. So, anyway. And I'm not sure if I explained to everyone who just joined me. Thank you for joining me, by the way. Today I am working on a worsted weight. Well, I don't even know what I would call this. It's not a swatch. I think it's just a testing ground. That's what we'll call it. To show the tricky stitches in the sampler that we are doing currently. The sampler is a Japanese knitting stitches sampler, and the stitches are gorgeous, like really pretty. And I found when I tried to help someone using my sampler that I'm knitting as well, I found that the yarn was too thin and the needles too small to really be effective, because I honestly had difficulty seeing it, and I would bring it up really close to the like this, to the boom camera, and the camera wouldn't focus on them properly, and it was just a sticky mess, right? So this way, if someone has a problem with one of the stitches, or they're feeling challenged, they can chat. Just say in the chat, don't be afraid, just say in the chat, I'd like you to do whatever stitch, and I'll certainly do it. I'll use this to demonstrate. because last night, Sandra would know this, and who else was with me last night? I can't remember. Probably quite a few. Yeah, this is how my mom taught me to hold this needle. I have knit, what was it? A Lopi sweater, an what's it called? Einband, and it was heavy, right? I even hold my needles in the round like this. So what I tend to do when I knit, how do I do that? You know, Saskia, I just knit. I just do it. I know that if I was doing like a quilt, like a knitted quilt, like that would make it quite difficult. I probably would do it lower on my lap and closer to my body. So that it would bear some of the weight. But yes, I do hold it like a pencil, and I use my fingers as bobbins when I throw. And my tension, I just love this way because I never let go of that needle. And I do not have to worry about finding my tension again with every stitch. Do you know what I mean? Because I see there's knitters who knit like this. You know, they knit, drop that needle, come around, and pull off. Well, already I can see the tension is different. And there's knitters who can knit like that, and they do beautiful work, right? They know how to get that tension back. I can't, but this way, by balancing on my hand, my tension stays with me, especially when I'm cabling. I cable like this as well, and for me, I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Sometimes I suffer from perfection paralysis, if you know what I mean. Like, you're knitting along and you see a mistake in your cable and you're like, oh my gosh. And then, you know, you have to go back, rip it out. Okay, so Saskia, you say that the same way as I do by holding it under the arm. Yeah. So you knit holding the top. Oh, but you flick the yarn like I do. Are you serious? That is so cool. I've been to so many classes with and a few knitting groups. I don't get out very much, but I've been to different classes around the world. I try to flick, but it's too hard to do. Do you mean when they do continental? I think this is continental. Jazz tune, one of the ladies, like, they pick it. Oh. You can see I don't do continental very often. They pick it. There we go. Like that? Is that what you mean when you say I try to flick? Is it pick that you mean? Like this? Supposedly that's faster. Still English style. Oh. Okay. I wish we could see each other. Wouldn't that be nice? I'd love to be able to see someone when you're knitting, so you hold your yarn in your right hand, like I do. You may see it backwards. I'm not sure how the show. I haven't actually rewatched any of the past episodes or the reruns. Oh no, I lie. I did this morning. I did a little mini clip. Okay, so you hold your yarn in the right hand, and you've got it under your arm. Do you go like this when you knit? Or are you flicking like I do? Like a bobbin? Are you flick, flick, flick? Like that? Hold the needles nearer to the tips? Ooh. Like that? Is it like really like quite close? I'm all about learning how to knit faster, because when I do a design, I need to have a sample, right, for the photo shoot. And usually I need it in the different sizes and different colors for different models. I don't have anyone to knit for me. I should get Tech Guy to learn to knit, but I have a feeling he would crochet for knitting. Okay, so you say yes. Okay, so okay. Saskia, hold your needles near the tips, and that's what Sandra just said. And then Sandra said, when I showed it, but not too close. Okay, so you let go of the needle, but you don't let go of your working yarn. Is it still wrapped in your hand? I'm just wondering, like, you don't drop it? I know the world's fastest knitter, she knits very close to the tips of the needles, I noticed. And you know, I think she does use needles. I think she does have one under the arm. Oh, so okay, so you do. No, you let. Okay, so Saskia says you do let go of the yarn. So when you make the stitch, you let go after you do it to pull. Okay. Yeah, Sandra, I have a feeling it would be very difficult if we use the regular size needles. Saskia said that she uses straight needles that are 14 inches. Okay. Saskia, I'm sorry, you say you don't let go. I wish I could see you knit. I would. Now, Sandra says that she mainly uses circular needles for everything, even flat knitting. I do too. I rarely use straights. In fact, it's rare that I even do flat knitting. That's going to change, though. I have knit a few shawls, but pardon me, I'm just reaching down and grabbing my sampler. But I own a lot of straight needles in the hopes that someday someone will come to my home and knit with me. Oh, Lord. Okay, so while we're on the topic of needles, I just wanted to show you. Okay, so Saskia says, you were 7 years old and we learned to knit that way. Did you actually learn in the classroom, like at school, Saskia? There is a lot of people that I've spoken to in different areas around the world, and they actually learn to knit at school, which is fabulous. Not just for the knitting aspect, but it's great for math. Oh, okay, you use circular knitting needles now for all your blankets. Yeah, that makes sense. Because I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Oh, you went to Catholic school. I'm Catholic as well. I didn't go to a Catholic school. My dad did, even though he's not Catholic. Oh, really? So you were a leg up. Saskia, Muse Studio says, our school had it, as in like teaching knitting in the school, within the school system, like in the classroom. But her nanny had already taught her to knit and crochet under the age of 10. So that is cool. So you had a leg up on the other students. So I bet it was super easy. And you've been knitting. Have you been knitting since 1964, Saskia? Muse Studio says, oh, your knitting class was part of home ec. I still have nightmares about home ec. I didn't do well. So Saskia, so you started knitting in 1964? Is that when you started? So you've got loads of experience. On and off. Okay. So you say you were knitting since 1964 on and off. Okay. Muse Studio says she has nightmares too about home ec, but she rocked the knitting. Awesome! And Saskia says for the last 8 years she's been knitting nonstop. That's great. That is so good. I wish we could sit together. I would buy you chocolate cake and we would knit. And I would like pick your brains for knitting techniques. I love knitting. As to Muse Studio, my nightmare from home ec, they made us learn how to cook. No, not me. I participated. I tried hard. Like, I really tried hard. And when I went to present, like, we had to cook a little hors d'oeuvre or something. I don't remember what it. I had to cook a taco, like where you put stuff in it and serve it. And I had to serve it to the home ec teacher. And part of the grade was how well you served it, and the presentation, and if it was cooked properly. And I chose a taco because it wasn't supposedly that hard. I dropped it on the floor on my way because I'm very, very I'm really klutzy, and I'm also autistic. So I was like, oh, I dropped it on the floor. Well, it's still good. I scooped it up, put it on the plate. Not that I wasn't thinking, oh, it's still good to eat, but it's still good to get a grade. Right? So the home tech teacher threw a fit, the cooking one, and I failed. The only class I've ever failed. So Sandra says, Sandra says that she made aprons. Yeah, I had to sew an apron too. Not very feminist. Yeah, if you think about it, it wasn't very feminist. Okay. Yes, Sandra, I would love to hang out with you too. Like I would buy you cake and pick your brains too for information. I love knitting so much. I just love getting more information and more knowledge. And same with you, Saskia. You throw food on your apron when you cook. Does that mean you're a good cook if you get food all over you when you cook? Tech Boy says it does mean you're a good cook when you do that. I'm not so sure. But I can't say anything in the difference because I don't cook. I'm an introvert as well. Like, I'm just reading Sandra's post or chat. She says, that would be great. I'm really antisocial. Oh, yeah, I bet. I'm really antisocial. I rarely go out, but I have a yarn shop. So that's my social life. A yarn shop. Oh. The things I would do in a yarn shop. That was mine. Oh. If they allowed it, I'd have a pet sheep. Wearing a diaper, though. Anyway, that's silly. I know, I'm just being silly. But I would. I don't cook. I did pass sewing. The sewing instructor had used me as an example in home ec as a bad example. Like, in front of everyone. This is the example of a person who will fail. Of course, she was friends with the cooking teacher and she knew about the incident. So my sewing kit, I had everything just crumpled up. To me, I knew where everything was. So don't touch my sewing kit, right? That's the way I was thinking. But she wanted everything like folded this way. Anyway. Oh, Sandra says tech guy must be right. So you make messes too on your aprons when you cook? Oh, Saskia says, that is so funny. In school with the cooking class, she hated what they were learning or they were cooking, so she would put the food in the apron. That's one way of doing it. Yup. Maybe I should have done that instead of served the taco. I think I might have tripped over it when it fell on the floor. Luckily I didn't slip, but I did very well in motor mechanics because it was very detail oriented. Yeah. And Saskia says, every knitter's dream, Sandra. That would be because Sandra has a knitting shop, everyone out there at home. Oh. Wow, that's nice for growing your community knitter spirits. Sandra says, I have a breakfast club every first Sunday of the month at the shop, and we have croissant and coffee and sit and knit. That would be beautiful. They better be croissants stuffed with chocolate. I love chocolate. I keep talking about it. Yeah, I don't know how we got on about the home ec. I know I did it. Sidetracked everyone. But yeah. Oh, needles. It was about needles and how we knit. That's how. And for some reason, that made me jump to home ec. Oh, Saskia says, too bad and live too far away. I know, isn't that awful? But it's nice that we can still talk on the stream. Yeah, that's fun. I don't have very many knitting groups near my small community. I'd love to start one, but I'm really an introvert. Like, I am quite shy around people because where I am autistic, I say things sometimes that are true, and they sometimes are taken the wrong way. So a lot of people think I'm funny when I'm not being funny. So it's awkward for me. Yes, I would. Oh, Saskia, you would go to Sandra's Breakfast Club and knit and eat croissants and coffee. I would too. I would go with you, Saskia. Sandra, we would come. Oh, that's so sweet. You feel blessed to knit with me. Oh, that's so sweet, Saskia, for saying that. In case you're wondering why I read the chat out loud, some of our viewers, their sight may not be as, it's probably more like mine, my vision. So the chat might be really hard for them to read. So I say everything out loud. That way everyone can feel the love and whatnot. Thank you. That's very sweet. I love compliments. I'm not like I'm, what's that called? When you self-centered, selfish. I can't think of the word. But I had a really hard time with accepting compliments because of where I thought everything has to be perfect. And if it wasn't perfect, then I'd be like, why are you complimenting me on this? It's not perfect, right? But I've since learned to get over that. So compliments feel so good that I make sure every day I compliment someone. And if it's just me at home alone with the dogs, I'll compliment them. Thank you for not destroying my knitting. You're such a good puppy, Charles. No, it's true. I talk to the dogs like they're people. What was I going to say about compliments? Yes, I actually stop people on the street if I see, like, say if there's a woman who's walking and she has a beautiful skirt, a really lovely blouse, and she looks so put together. You know, I have no problem just saying, oh, my dear, I have to say, you look gorgeous today, and I love your outfit, or stuff like that. Oh! Saskia says, you are very pleasant and funny. Thank you. And Sandra says, that's a good way to live your life, Nin. And it's true. Giving out compliments, it doesn't cost anything. And it's like little gifts of gold. By the way, I love gold. I love jewelry. But it's seriously, it's like little gifts of gold, emotional gold. And you give them out and you give them out. And when you receive them, they feel really good. So that's why I do that. Sometimes people react funny to compliments. I've had people be like, get away from me. Are you looking for change? I'm like, no, I'm just complimenting you. Like I'm a hobo on the street, you know, trying to soften someone up to get money out of them. You know, that's happened before. I've never panhandle, I think it's called. I've never done that. I just compliment people, but sometimes people take it the wrong way, like how I used to, and they think I'm trying to beg for money. It doesn't happen too often, Usually it's the business crowd in the business section of town. But anyway, that's it's strange. Yes, we got off track with about the needles, and we were talking about how different ways we knit. I wanted to show you. Sandra's seen these already, and for all the new viewers, these are very special and very old knitting needles that Tech Guy, my best friend Tech Guy, who came in to fix the chat for me, he gave them to me a few days ago. I think it was on the first day of the actual... Yeah, I think it was the first day of the actual 5-day knit. These needles belong to, I can't remember, either his grandmother or his great-grandmother. And so these were made back in either the 30s or the 20s. They're heavy. But they're not very pointy, so I do find them difficult for this project because the yarn, the size is great for the yarn and my tension, but I wish they were pointier for getting into those stitches in the back and moving them. Yeah, they are very difficult to maneuver. So for lace, I'm sure they would be gorgeous for something else. But I just think that was so sweet that he gave me something so precious. Maybe he didn't find it precious. He doesn't knit. But I really find that this is a beautiful gift. And it's funny, it's made by a company here in Canada. It says made in Canada. I love the end of it. Isn't that cool? It says made in Canada, but it's made by a company called... Oh, wait. Do I have two different needles? Nope. These ones are made by Maltese in a size 9. I measured this because I had no clue what a size 9 was. It may be the European sizing, because I don't think it's US sizing. This is a 3.75 millimeter. This is what this is. So, Sandra, yes, they are heavy though. And I kind of wish they are they're not like, oh, I have a measuring thing right here. So they're a little just shy of 12 inches long. Now, I don't use straights very often, so I don't know if that is a common size for straights. Might be. I thought they looked shorter. Like, I have also some plastic needles that are from the 70s. They're really long, but they're not long enough to do knitting the way that you do, Saskia, where it's under the arm, like held under the arm. Yeah, so I'm using these for this pattern, and I find, even though they are a little bit tricky to use with, just because there is history, these were loved very well by Charlotte. That was her name. She was an avid knitter, and she's passed on. I met her many years ago, and she was a delight. She was so salty. She was a firecracker. There is a picture of her. Just a side note. I get sidetracked. Her husband was very quiet and a tall, very handsome man. Like, whoo, handsome. And there was a picture that he took of her during World War II. And I don't know where they were, but they were like if they were either in the US or Canada, but they were at a naval base, and someone, and I probably think it was Charlotte, had wrote in lipstick on the barrel of one of the big huge guns, "Hey Hitler, coming for ya," something like that. And she's in a dress, and you know the dresses are so beautiful gorgeous, tailored, beautiful. She's in a dress, and she's actually like a pinup girl straddling the cannon and doing like this pose for her boy, for her guy. He married her, obviously. He didn't let her slip away. Yeah, so Charlotte was salty, and these are her needles, and I feel blessed to have them because it's nice. They're, they could have gone to a landfill. You imagine? But okay, so for our viewers who are doing the Japanese knit along, this is pattern 27 here. I'm just going to show you the comparison. I did this morning. I actually streamed this morning for our European crowd because this time for them is actually really late at night, and I felt bad, Oh wait, that's not it. Is this it? Yes, it is. Sorry. I'm picking up the keyboard. Watch me make a mess and totally wreck the stream. I'm doing this so carefully. Okay. So here is the pattern 27 that we're on. Some are coming up to it. Actually, some are all over the place, and that's perfectly fine. It's not like I did not intend it to be a race or a contest. It's all about learning. Yeah, so I noticed in the Facebook group, for the love of Japanese knitting stitches, or love of Japanese knitting stitches. It's a Facebook group. That's where I started this. Oh, it's 2 p.m., 12 p.m. it's midnight for you? Oh. Wow. I promise I'll wrap up in 10 minutes. So you can 10 minutes so that you can get to bed. Yes, so there's a lot of people in the Facebook group that were posting that they're all over the place, like different spots. And that's okay. Like I said, it's not a race. It's just learning. I've uploaded these videos to my YouTube channel. It's the same thing as my, I think everything I have is Nin Designs, so it's easy to find. Sandra said, I missed most of this morning actually. It was early afternoon in the UK. I don't have good Wi-Fi at the shop. Well, rats. That's awful. I'm sorry to hear that. I actually don't have very good Wi-Fi either. So sometimes you will notice that I will be out of sync. I will be speaking and my voice will come in later, which is so weird. Okay, so it's 5 p.m. in Louisiana. You were just mentioning, Saskia, that in Holland it's 12 p.m. Okay, yeah. I had a new follower. It was so exciting. What was her name? I'm horrible with names. I have issues with my memory. She's from Spain, and she was such a delight. Ooh! That's going to bug me. Anyway, she was the one who was talking about the chocolate that they have for breakfast with coffee and churros. And I so want to learn how to make a churro. Maybe I'll get Tech Guy to do it because he loves to cook. And he recently, he's starting to dabble in donuts. So Sandra, it's almost 11 p.m. where you are. Okay. Yeah, that's late. It's fun, though, to stay up late and watch interesting things or funny things and knit. Although for this pattern 27, no, this one here, at least for me and my brain and my skill, it's like focus. Because I was telling the ladies earlier this morning, and the few gentlemen we had watching, I ripped this lace section here back to the separating stitch. This is the separating stitch here that I charted up. I had to rip back 3 times. 3 times. And by... Oh, you saw that! Oh! Yeah, I was so... I think I was tired. But my... I'm not going to stop until I get this right kicked in. Oh, you're knitting right now, stocking stitch, Sandra, while you're watching. That's a good idea. Most of my designs, I don't use stocking stitch in them, and I wish I did, because then I could sit and watch Netflix. I don't have TV. Like, I don't have a subscription to television, like cable, or I used to have rabbit ears because that was free. For those who don't, who it's going to sound awful. I'm very frugal. Like, I like to be frugal and spend my money where it makes my life fulfilled. And that's yarn on my babies. On things that really matter, like going around the world on knitting trips. Anyway, I don't have TV, but I have Netflix, and I watch it. So stocking stitch would be great to do while watching a movie. And none of my designs so far, other than this early one where I've got it in the round, just knitting, this would be great. But it's only just a little bit of knitting. This, like, you zip right through this one so fast, and then you hit the swirl of the decrease. And you kind of have to be mindful of that. But, yeah. I'm glad you're doing stocking stitch right now, Sandra, because I hate messing up. It bothers me. And that's what happened last night. 3 times. I was up until 2 p.m. No, wait, sorry, 2 a.m. in the morning. And I got it to a point where I could stop. I don't use lifelines. It's on my list. You'll see that there's a lot of corrections on. So if you do go to the Facebook, I should say, for the ones who are just who've just found today and are want to participate in the Japanese knitting stitch sampler, but you want to do it after the 5 days. Actually, it's not going to be 5 days. It's going to be more like 7 or 8, because I'm actually going to stream tomorrow on Sunday, same times, and I'm going to stream on Monday as well. But I don't think I'll do the morning. I'm going to take the time off and be with my babies and do other stuff because but anyway, if you are new to us and you're planning to join the Facebook group for the love of Japanese knitting, I think it is, you can download these stitch keys. And the nice thing about them, I charted these out in my software, so they are pretty much accurate. There is a few little hiccups here and there, like in the repeat. So I posted another copy of the repeat that you could download. You'll see it in the notes. Like it's not hard to follow. In the Facebook group, like the posts. That's what I meant by the notes. You'll see. I also have available the written instructions. So if you prefer written knitting instructions, over charts, no problem. I've got you covered. You can download those and give it a go. I'm going to leave all of these live streams up on YouTube and also here on Twitch, so you can watch them as what's that called? Reruns. Yeah, that's the old term for it. And hopefully it will answer a few questions. Like this morning, we were looking at the slip, slip, pearl on the wrong side of the row. Like on the wrong side. So it's the mirror of the slip, 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 slip knit on the right side. It's the stitch that slants left. And this pattern has it, like, it's a lot. It happens a lot in this 27. So if you don't get it down pat, like if you don't know how to do that slip slip pearl, I highly suggest you either watch my demonstration of it, which I hope was okay, or you like Google it and see it on YouTube, because late last night I was so mad at myself for messing up. I refused to go to the computer and I had to figure it out myself because I couldn't remember. I knit in the round all the time, like I've said that many times, and I was like, what's the mirror of SSK? But it's slip slip pearl. And oh man, I can't remember how we did it. What? Saskia, you saw it this morning. I don't know if you were there, Sandra, this morning. What? Anyway, I did a good like demonstration with my fingers and with my knitting. But essentially, when you do the slip slip pearl, you slip the first 2 stitches as if it's knitwise. You slip them knitwise, so they have that twist to them, to the legs. And oh yeah, and then when you purl, okay, so here's our right needle, left needle. Oh wait. Oh my word, I tell you. If my head wasn't attached to my body, you know what I mean? So let's say we want to do an SSK, because on the right side row, or sorry, a slip slip knit, because on the right side row we have the SSK, and we want that lovely line to remain clear and unbroken. So there is my slip slip knit right there on the right side. So if we were going to work that as slip slip pearl, if I remember from this morning, what you do is you slip the first one knitwise, slip the second one knitwise, put them back. This is a little bigger, it's a little easier to see. Put them back on your left hand needle, like so, and you'll notice that the legs are oriented in a funny way. Yes, the legs are oriented differently, and that's the key. The next step is to take your right needle, take the tip, insert it through the back like this. Okay, into those 2 stitches. Now I'm going to have to use my finger, so it's going to block it for a second because I need to hold that stitch. There. So there's those 2 stitches that we did slip, slip, and then return them tip to the left needle, and the legs are oriented differently. Now we swing our needles, the right hand needle that is, the working needle, we're going to swing it around back into the knitting position, and you'll see that it's already I didn't have my yarn in proper place. Okay, helps if the yarn is in your working yarn is in the right spot. Okay, let me get that. All right, there we go. All right, so there we go. I'm gonna slip around. Oh, Saskia. Oh, you know that one. Good, good. There was several people this morning that didn't know it, and I'll be honest, I couldn't remember it, not for the life of me. So I had to look it up on my phone on on the internet, and then do a live demonstration. So for all those who are watching, you've got your needle in here like this, your working needle, into the back of those twisted, because they are twisted, purl stitches. You swing it around, and you're set up to do a purl. So sorry, I had my thumb in the way. Now you're set up to do a purl. So you simply purl the way you normally do. And then when you pull off and snug it up, I totally messed up. Okay. Saskia, you probably want to slap me with a knitting needle. Look at this. Look at this, folks. Here I am trying to make this lovely left-leaning slant. It's leaning lovely, but my stitch below... Okay, so I did the SSK properly. Or, sorry, the slip, slip, purl. I did do it properly. Because on the right side, you can see the one I just worked. There. Oh, no. Oh, this camera. Well, it's mostly in focus. It's done right. So, SS purl, the way I showed you, it's right. What I messed up with was the stitch on the other side. So it's not a pretty line. I wanted to show a pretty line, like, ta-da, the magic of the pretty line. Yes. Saskia says it's purl through the back of the loop. And you are absolutely correct. The only caveat, like the only difference than just a regular purl through the back of the loop is if you slip the stitches knitwise first. See how the legs don't twist? They just look like a regular knit stitch from the right side. If you did a purl through the back of the loop without slipping those 2 stitches that you intend to purl first, the legs will be twisted, which is perfectly fine if you're going for that look. In fact, I use it all the time because I love twisted stitches. Bless you, bless you, bless you. So Saskia says, never will I slap you with my knitting needles. You're just trying to help. I am. Oh, I'm sure that's what if we were all driving along and I accidentally drive us over the side of a cliff, I was just trying to help. Oh, boys. Yeah, I'm just trying to help. That's true. And that's what I love to do, is help knitters. And hopefully... See, when I make tutorial videos, they're usually very polished because I can cut out things and I can redo them over and over. So all of the bloopers are gone. But when you do things live like this, there is no taking it back. There's no going backwards. So when you mess up, you mess up and people see it. And unfortunately, I think genetically there's a dark cloud that hangs over my head because my whole family's like that. We are very prone to doing embarrassing things in public. Anyway, so I won't go into that. That's a different story. But yeah, so that was a dark cloud moment, just a pinch of it, because I totally messed up the setup. But the technique was correct. And thank you, Saskia, for saying that. That makes it more fun. And yes, I see you've corrected your spelling on that one. That's me too. I am horrible at spelling and typing. My teenage daughter says there's nothing worse than watching me text, because I don't like or don't understand all the different things that are short, like a shorthand. I should learn that. So yeah, bloopers do make a live stream entertaining. But thank you for saying that, because that makes me feel better. And that's the only thing you can do about it, right, folks? Like, if you mess up, if you mess up when you're live, and even when you're just in general, I always just laugh, because what do you gotta do about it? Unless it's something really serious, like you wrapped your car around a tree or something, someone else's tree in their yard. Yeah. Okay, so Sandra has said, I do a left-leaning DD, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass over. A right-leaning double decrease, I slip, knit these together through the back of the loop and place them on the left needle and pass the stitch over. Okay, let me think about that. Saskia, you might have the answer faster than I do. Or you might be making a statement. Are you just letting us know, or are you asking that as a question, Sandra? Because if it's a question, I want to make sure I answer it. But if that's what it is, then thank you for sharing. I just want to make sure that which one it is, because otherwise I'm going to have to turn my brain power on and think about it. So left-leaning double decrease, slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slipped stitch over on the right-hand side. Yes. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Yes, no brain strain here. Thank you. So, yes, so for everyone out there, Sandra has given us a wonderful tip about double decreases. And these are for the right-hand side, I assume. Yeah, they would have to be for the right hand side because it would be different for the wrong hand. Yeah. Thank you, Sandra. That was very kind. That was very kind of you. Thank you. Just letting us know. That's really kind. Yeah. And this is why I really love this live streaming, because it almost feels like we're all sitting around a table and having our knitting, and we're just, chatting away and whatnot. It's fun. The only thing that would make it better is if I could see you two and actually hear you. That would be phenomenal, but I don't know if that technology exists for Twitch TV. It does for Google Hangouts, but the problem with those is that I can't remember what the problem, but it's not a viable way to do this kind of a TV show, unfortunately. Oh yes, I can't use a boom mic, like the mic up here. So if I was going to show you something as a demonstration, or show you something pretty or show a book, then you would see it backwards because I'd have to hold it up like this. Right? And that's no fun. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Sorry, I meant to end right at, well, it's my time, 7:15 p.m. And I meant to end right at 7 because I know there's people who need to get to bed or make supper. So I would like to say thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. And the people who've joined me twice today. That's like so nice. Very nice. And I can't wait to talk to you again. If you have not subscribed, oh, my words are failing me. If you haven't clicked that follow button, please make sure you do, because when you hit follow, as Tech Boy told me, it'll give you alerts when I'm going on, and that way you'll have some time to get your stuff ready, to get your knitting ready. And yeah, so if you haven't clicked follow, please do. Thank you so much, everyone. It was a wonderful time, although I didn't really show you anything other than my bloopers. But I had a great chat. It was great. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Saskia, for saying it's nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you, too. It's really nice. Good night, everyone. Oh, Motosuko, hi. Thank you for saying hi. Walter Rusten? Saskia, I'm going to say the only thing I know, it's probably not even, ich möchte Ihnen eine schöne Wochenende. I also say, I know, der Kuchen schmeckt sehr gut, which is the cakes taste good. And the first one was, I wish you a happy weekend? In German. That's how I got around in Germany. The cake was good, and I hope you have a good weekend. Yeah, so hi to all the new people, and thank you for saying hi. Motosuko. Yes, what I just said was German. And what Saskia said was good night. Guten Abend. I remember that in my German. Yes. So bonne nuit. Guten Abend. I don't know what it is in Japanese. I wish I did. But in Canadian, good night, y'all. There's no do to boot it. We're going to bed. Yeah, so I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me. Please follow my channel so that you're able to know when I go on. I try to post it everywhere else on my social media. And let's keep knitting and having fun. I'll talk to you folks later. Thank you so much.